Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue, all thanks to our friends at Palmerbet. Download that app, get involved. 2 more rounds to go in the NRL. What a season it's been. And this man, he's a legend of the sport. He's a legend of the Newcastle Knights, Kurt Gidley. As I say, a very good afternoon, Gids. Mate, let's be honest, the lid is well and truly off in Newcastle, big fella. That was a huge win over the Rabbits on the weekend, big fella.
Mate, absolutely, Matty. Massive win. It was going to be a real test for the Newcastle Knights. Although the Bunnies, mate, hadn't been playing their best form of late, certainly was going to be a real good challenge for the Newcastle Knights team. And a very convincing victory, mate, in a sold-out McDonald Jones Stadium. Sensational atmosphere.
And Gids, that's what I was going to ask, mate. What was you're there, mate? You're a legend of that club. You've had some pretty ordinary years over the journey, and the last couple being them. No one probably expected, this season as it's unfolded the way it has. And just to put it into perspective, in round 13, just to make the 8, you were $10 on the Palmerbet app, Gids. So It's been a huge, huge turnaround in the back half of this season. You're just in good nick. But what was it like there at McDonald Jones Stadium, mate?
Well, mate, number one, I drove into the stadium and it was a cracking day, cracking sunny day, Sunday afternoon footy, 2 o'clock kickoff, but 12 midday kickoff for the NRLW team too, coming up against the Brisbane Broncos. So that kind of set the scene, mate. Over 17,000 there for the NRLW game. Yes. And, mate, that did set the scene. They come from behind the NRLW team, and Jess Southwell, one of the stars of the competition, absolute superstar, she kicked the goal to win on the buzzer to win. So that did set the scene. It was a massive crowd at that stage, cracking day, and for them to win on the bell, it was a great setup for the NRL team to go in and knock the Bunnies off. And it was a tough performance early on, and mate, I just think the Knights are number one. Their attacking shape is looking really sharp, but defensively, I think they must have saved at least 3 or 4 tries, which that's always a great indicator on how the team's travelling. They're scrambling really hard and working, I guess, cohesively defensively, which is important. So. Mate, it was a great atmosphere to hear the Newcastle chant go up, that's for sure.
Oh, huge. On the flip side, where's it leave the Rabbits, mate? They just had a disappointing season, haven't they?
Oh, mate, I was listening to the radio this morning, sports radio, and, gee, there was some criticism of Latrell Mitchell and just his effort during the game. And I must say, as a former fullback, I did watch him closely on the weekend, and I just didn't think he got involved enough. And, from a Knights perspective, I was happy to see that. But, geez, a person of his calibre and talent, he needs to be getting his hands on the ball more than once every set, whether it's kick returns. Instead of passing it to wingers, he needs to be kick returning. Because let's face it, I'd rather him passing to a winger than him returning the footy if I'm the opposition.
That's right, mate.
So I can understand why South fans are frustrated, that's for sure.
And I have to ask you, Gids, being a former fullback, mate, would you have been at a Luke Combs comps at necking and sculling BB Cairns on stage, big fella, a couple of days out before such a vital clash?
Well, I don't know if I would have been on stage shotgunning a beer can at that stage. Probably thankfully there wasn't as many video camera phones back in my day. Maybe Joey Johns would have been up there doing it, but no one would have been able to record it. You know what, Matty? It's not a good look, is it, for your fans? If you can shotgun the beer can and come out and have an absolute flyer, mate, happy days. Go and do it every week.
Yeah, that's right. You got to back it up, don't you? That's the key in this day and age. Hey, what about the Sharks, mate? Their kind of last 6 or 7 weeks been really good. Big win against the Cowboys on their home deck, mate, and they still kept that top 4 chances alive.
Yeah, it was a big win. I think I tipped the Cowboys in that game, so I just thought their home ground advantage. I thought it would be a tough one, but a great win by the Sharks there, because they hit a little bit of the wobbles, mate, a few weeks back, and been dusted in a couple of games, and was just a little bit inconsistent defensively when they dropped Moylan, I think it was, at that stage. So. But they're still going to keep winning, mate, if they want to be amongst that sort of if they want to push for top 4. But I mean, they're only 1 point ahead of the Knights at the moment too. So they're playing for a home semi in these last 2 games, which again, so is the Raiders, so is the Knights.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Roosters end the Eels season. I must admit, I watched a bit of this game. The Parramatta Eels actually started this contest pretty well. I thought, oh, here we go. But to the Roosters' credit, they really lifted it up a notch when they had to.
Yeah, they did. I think we spoke about it. Well, look, when you lose your starting halfback, someone like Mitchell Moses, who played Origin this year, it was always going to be a bit of a challenge for the Eels. But yeah, geez, to play in the grand final last year and they're going to miss the 8 by the looks of it this year. It's a fair fall from grace. But the Roosters, we did speak of. I did put the red pen through the Roosters there.
I know,
a few
mate.
weeks back. I'm happy to stick with that too.
The Roosters faithful know it as well, big fella. Hey, Panthers commanding victory again. Storm was solid as well. So, a couple of the favoured and fancied teams going well. But the Warriors fairy tale, it continues with a 29-22 victory over the Seagulls. And they had to do it the hard way. Manly give it threw everything at them, didn't they?
Yeah, no, it was a decent game. I watched that one. Tight game. The Warriors, I mean, there was a controversial moment there when Ruben Garrick got flipped pretty dangerously on his back. But I mean, the rules were the rules. I know it's probably a bit of a loophole, but I think Peter V'landys said he's going to come out and crack down on that one for next season. But it did potentially cost them, that's for sure. But mate, the Warriors, I admire what they've done this year, that's for sure. It's they're sitting 3rd at the moment, and geez, they're going to be dangerous in the semis.
Yeah, no, their confidence levels are at sky high as well. Now, Gids, put a line through them. You just touched on it, mate. You put a line through the Roosters. I reckon you might have gone a little bit early, but anyway, you did it and you're sticking fat with it. So Tigers gone, Dragons, Bulldogs, Dolphins, Titans, Seagulls, and the Roosters. Simple one this week, to be honest, Gids, is you just put that line through
simple
the
one.
Parramatta Eels, mate. Is that all you're doing, Gids?
Mate, the Eels are gone.
Right, so only the one? So you're not gonna
only the one, mate. And because, mate, I'm like Russell Crowe out of a beautiful mind here. I've got notes and stats and numbers, mate, all over the place. Look at the homework I do here for the Palmer Bet boys.
No wonder you can pay top dollar, mate.
This takes me hours.
You are a freak show,
probably
mate.
worth a few more, Mark, I reckon.
Mate,
I'll go back to the table next year.
It's Eels only, big fella.
Well, mate, Eels only this week, and because I've done a bit of homework here, mate, and Bunnies have got the bye this week, and then they go into the Roosters game, final round.
So that's going to
be... They're going to be on 30 points.
Yeah, that's the match.
Bunnies are going to be on 30 points after the bye. The Roosters play the Tigers this week. If they beat them, they're on 30 points going into the last round. And if the Cowboys beat the Dolphins, they'll be on 30 points. They go into the last round to play the Panthers, which is going to be a tough one to win.
Yeah.
So you're going to have potentially Cowboys, Bunnies, Roosters, all on 30 points going into the last round.
Unreal.
All playing for probably eighth spot.
And that's been the season that has been, hasn't it? It's been amazing.
Amazing. How tight the ladder is. But mate, I still think it's going to be a big effort for the Roosters to come from where they are. They're at minus 62 points, for and against at the moment. So they've got to win both games, and they've got to win convincingly to leapfrog the teams in front of them, especially with the Bunnies with a bye.
And Gids, just on that,
and the Cowboys,
mate, your Knights have firmed from $41 last week to $23 for the premiership on Palmer Bet as well, mate. So they're the big movers. Sharks have gone from 34 to 23. Raiders 126 to 101. Still rank outsiders, really. And everyone else, Panthers, Broncos, Warriors, Storm, all remaining pretty similar. Rabbitohs have drifted actually from 15s out to $36. And the Cowboys, they've gone from 19 out to 101. So they're lucky they're not getting the red ink off Kurt Gidley this week as well, I reckon, mate.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Well, I mean, you got the West Tigers on 14 at the moment, who I'm sure want to continue to win to try and get away from that spoon, which the Dragons are only 2 points ahead of them there too. So
yeah, spot on.
Going to be interesting.
Hey, mate, let's have a look at this week's round of actions. We've got 2 rounds to go. Big fella, rounds 26 and 27, and it starts Thursday night. Panthers v the Eels, playing for a little bit of pride at Panthers Stadium. Head-to-head, the Panthers $1.09. Eels at $7.50 at the line. The Panthers minus 19.5, $1.90. Eels plus 19.5, $1.90. So a solid line. Key stats, all thanks to Palmer Bet, Mitch Kenny, Brian To'o, and Scotty Sorensen, all expected to return after being rested. So he got some big guns to come back in for the Eels. Sean Lane. Andrew Davies set to return from injury. Eels won their round 4 clash, 17-16 in Golden Point. Defence wins the title. Panthers have conceded 20-plus points twice all year. We spoke about that last week. Close calls. Panthers have lost 4 games this year by the margin of 1, 1, 2, and 4 points. That is phenomenal. And they'll get the job done here Thursday night footy, Gids.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I'm just going to take the line in every game here, Matty, just to get a bit more value. But yeah, Panthers for this one. I know the Eels might have got them early in the year, but that was a long time ago and can't see it happening this round, mate. So Panthers will want to keep building into the semis. They've got a few blokes back from being rested who'll be refreshed. So I'm going to take the Panthers minus 19.5.
Beautifully done, Gids. Let's get a Friday night footy doubleheader as it always is. Warriors taking on the Dragons, 6 p.m. at Go Media Stadium. Warriors head-to-head $1.13. Dragons at 6.10. Warriors at the line minus 16.5, $1.90. Dragons plus 16.5, $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmer Bet for the Warriors. Mitch Barnett looks to be the only change from last week. For the Dragons, Zach Lomax is expected to be back after missing last week. Warriors won their round 17 clash 48-18. It was a drubbing. Dragons have won 1 game since round 19, but have lost by more than 12 points in all those losses. Okay, so that is not good. And then Dylan Watini-Zelniak has scored at least 1 try in each of his last 7 games. He scored 4 tries against the Dragons in round 17. Warriors need to win to keep that top 4 double chance alive.
Yeah, they do. They're only just ahead of the Storm at the moment. They've got a fair buffer between 3rd and 4th and sort of 5th at the moment. But I still think, although they probably won't, if they do come top 4, they won't have a home semi locked in. But they'll be, if they do, they'll have a home semi for the second round of the semi-final series. So,
it's a
definitely on the Warriors here. Can't see the Dragons.
Yeah. Look, it's going to
double chance. Yeah, double shot at it. If you're top 4, that's for sure. So. Mate, be awesome to see the Warriors have a home semi, whether it's probably not going to be the first week, but the second week of the semis if they get beat. And so it will be bouncing there at Go Media Stadium.
And they've been starved, haven't they, the last few years with COVID and all that kind of stuff. So they'll be up and about. Don't worry. Hey, Friday, 8 p.m., Suncorp Stadium. Dolphins take on the Cowboys head-to-head. Dolphins $3.56. Cowboys at $1.30. Dolphins at the line plus 9.5, $1.90. Cowboys minus 9.5, $1.90. Key stats for the Dolphins. The Hammer is expected to be back along with Connolly Lamulu and Kenny Bromwich. So some good players coming back in. No changes for the Cowboys from last week, which they were disappointing against the Sharks. So the Dolphins won their round 6 clash 32-22. Dolphins have won only 1 of their last 10 games, and the Cowboys have lost 3 in a row. They need to win to stay in finals contention. It's as simple as that, mate. Dolphins started the season so well. Gids just punching a little bit late, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I mean, they've had some challenges with some depth, through injuries and suspension, but a pretty valiant year, really. They surprised all of us for the first half of the year, but have struggled with the back end of the year. So when the Cowboys losing 3 in a row at this stage of the competition going into the semi-finals isn't great for confidence and belief and defensive records. But I think, maybe this one's going to be tighter than what I'm expecting. I'm still going to stick with the line, Cowboys minus 9.5.
Yeah, beautifully done, mate. Let's go to the Storm Titans Saturday, 3 p.m. at Amy Park. The Storm at $1.11. Titans $6.70, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Storm minus 18.5 at the line, $1.90. Titans plus 18.5 at $1.90. Oh, I love this. The key stats, all thanks to Palmer Bet and the big Ryan Pappenhausen. The big fella is expected to make his long-awaited return. This is huge. Been a great story, of course. A shocking injury to that kneecap over 12 months ago, and it's been a long road back. He's a star of the competition. It's great to see him back. For the Titans, Jaden Campbell is out. Titans won their round 3 clash 38-34. Storm have won 4 of their last 6. In those games, they've scored at least 30 points. The big Pappy's back, mate. It's great to see, isn't it, Gids?
Well, Potentially, Matty. That's the key word, mate. There.
You're thinking.
Well, he's named in. His name. He's named in the 19 jersey. I think they've named him in the 19 jersey just to minimise the press around it.
No, yep.
Might be a bit of a coach's tactic, that one. I mean, he has played 3 games in the Queensland Cup, and I believe he played 80 minutes of fullback last week, and hasn't lost his speed and is looking good. So he is named in the 19 jersey at the moment, and that's maybe just to protect him from too much hype and media attention this week. But he might be a late inclusion, mate, because Craig Bellamy will have up till an hour before kickoff to name his final 17, but I think he'll be there 2 weeks out from the semis.
I reckon he will.
So Storm, mate, that's a I mean, the last time they played, Titans won that one 38-34. Massive win by the Titans in that game. But I think, I think this is where you'll see some of the, I think this is where you'll see some of the top teams, that they'll just be looking for a bit more of a ruthless result or mindset going into the semi-final. So I think it's Storm, mate, for this one. Big start, minus 8.5 start, but I'm going to stick to them.
Right, mate. I reckon you're right. I reckon the sides up the top of the ladder are going to start flexing a little bit of muscle, Gids. So you're spot on there, mate. Hey, Roosters Tigers Saturday 5:30 at Allianz Stadium. Head-to-head Roosters $1.16. Tigers at $5.30 at the line. The Roosters minus 14.5 $1.90. Tigers plus 14.5 $1.90. Key stats here for the Roosters. Big out too. Jadesco likely to be out with that head knock. It was a pretty big hot head knock as well too, mate. And Jared was. Hargraves could return, which would be a big boost for the Tigers. Luke Brooks is a possibility to return. Hitting form at the right time. The Chooks have been good. They've won their last 3 games in good style. This is the first time they've met these two teams this season. Their last game, the Roosters won 72-6, which was in round 23 last year. And we just know the Roosters got to win. Simple as that if they want to keep their season alive, which has been a really topsy-turvy season for the Roosters followers.
Yeah, unpredictable season for the Roosters. This one, that's a long time ago. They won 72-6. I'll tell you that 12 months ago. But mate, it's been an unpredictable or uncharacteristic year from the Roosters. Inconsistent. Mate, over the last few weeks they've showed some form. I think Tedesco. I'd expect him to be out with that type of head knock from last week. It was a big but he's so important to that team. Over these last 2 games, and they need to win both games, and they need to win convincingly for their for and against. So, interesting game. Tigers are trying to get away from the wooden spoon, so they've got a bit to play for as well. But, I'm going to stick with the Roosters. And it's, what have we got here? 14.5, minus 14.5 start. They're giving it away.
The line again, mate. Love it. Absolutely love it. Hey, Raiders, Broncos. Yep. This is going to be a cracker. One of the matches of the round for me. Saturday, 7:35 at GIA Stadium. Bronx coming off a bye, of course, last week. Head-to-head, the Raiders $2.94. Broncos $1.41. The line, Raiders plus 7.5 $1.90. Broncos minus 7.5 $1.90. Key stats here for the Raiders. Jack Whiten is expected to return, while Seb Chris is still a week away. For the Broncos, Corey Oates is expected to return along with Martin Tupai from suspension. Raiders won their round 6 clash 20-14 in Brisbane. Broncos have won their last 6 straight games. They are in good nick. They're scoring plenty of points, the Broncos. They scored at least 30 points in their last 5 wins. What's it like coming off a bye? Is it always a little bit of a concern, just that little bit of match hardness, that match fitness, kids coming up against a pretty good side in the Warriors? Sorry, Raiders.
No, right now I don't think so, mate. I think this time of year, it'd be nice to have a little week off for any niggling. Like most players are carrying something at this stage of the year. Yep, most players have been going into games carrying some form of injury or tightness. So I think a week off, close to the semis will be refreshing. Get away from footy, have a bit of a break, and come back with a high intensity back to train and your first performance back from a bye. So. Yeah, I think they'll be right up for it. That's for sure. But I think the Broncos, mate, they've been one of the class teams of the competition. Certainly attack-wise, they're quick, aggressive forward pack, can move the ball well. Great, experienced halfback Adam Reynolds. So I think they'll continue with a good run, mate, into the semis. Broncos minus 7.5.
I love the Broncos, mate. I reckon they've just had a sensational season. I love the way they go about it, and I've said that all year. I reckon it's great to watch. Hey, Bulldogs, Sea Eagles, Sunday 2 p.m. at the Core Stadium. Head-to-head, Bulldogs 270. Sea Eagles at $1.47. They were good last week. At the line, the Bulldogs plus 5.5 $1.90. Seagulls minus 5.5 $1.90. Key stats, all thanks to Palmer Bet, of course, for the Bulldogs. They're going to go in with the same 17 from last week. While for the Seagulls, Ruben Garrick is out with a back injury, while Brad Parker is expected to return. Seagulls won their round one clash 31-6. Going backwards, the Bulldogs have won only one of their last 5 games, while the Seagulls have lost 3 in a row. Even though I thought they were good last week, no defense in the last 7 losses for the Bulldogs. They have conceded at least 34 points in each game. 314-94 in those 7 losses. That's a big difference, mate.
Yuck.
I must admit, I'm really keen on Manly here. Gids, I don't know about you, but I thought without winning last week, I thought they were good.
Yeah, no, they were still strong last week, that's for sure. And yeah, they did have certainly plenty to play for sort of last week. You know, they're definitely out of the top 8 run now, but I think they'll still want to finish the year off pretty well. I like Ruben Garrick. I think he's a lot for him, to be honest. I think he's competitive. He's a good finisher. He's good in yardage carries. So I think he's definitely a loss.
Yeah.
I think they've got a strong enough team. I think they might have dropped Schuster, I think, for this week, which again, I believe from what I heard this morning, radio was just effort wise, not good enough, not what's expected out of the team. I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, Jake Arthur's replaced Schuster at 5'8". So I mean, you know, young guy, Schuster, big, strong, talented, got all the attributes, but unfortunately the output that he's offered isn't up to the standard of the NRL. So he's been dropped for this game and probably will be for the last game. So Jake Arthur's in for this week. I think the Eagles may have still got enough to get it done. The Bulldogs' defence, Cameron Cirello has spoken pretty frustratingly around, you know, the lack of desire in their defence, and yeah, some poor statistics to back it up.
Hey, Gids, final game, mate. It is Sunday show day for these Newcastle Knights at the moment. It's the old boys weekend too. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gids. Which is
absolutely it is.
4:05 McDonald Jones Stadium. It'll be a sellout again. The Knights head-to-head taking on the Sharks, $1.68. Sharks at $2.20. Knights at the line minus 3.5 $1.90. Sharks plus 3.5 $1.90. Key stats for the Knights: Jackson Hastings could return from that ankle injury, which could be the only change for the lineup. For the Sharks, they're going to take in the same 17, and why wouldn't they? Sharks won their round 12 clash 26-6 comfortably. Get it to Greg. Nike's winger, Greggy Marzu, has failed to score just once in the team's 7-game winning streak. So I get it out to the big man and let him do his job. Kids, how are we doing, mate? This is huge. What are we thinking, mate? Like, you know, because to come away with a win against a team that's really been awesome the last month or so in particular, oh, gee whiz, it set you up.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the match of the round, Matty, for sure. Definitely. This one. Definitely. I mean, it's looking like another sold-out McDonald Jones Stadium this Sunday afternoon. It's the Channel 9 game. It's Knights Old Boys Day, which is always the biggest reunion of any NRL old boys in the competition. You'll see it by the Guard of Honour that the players running up to at about 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. So a huge afternoon. I mean, there's a real buzz around town. Number one, the NRLW team play before the boys again, which is great. I think it's all 3 grades again this week. So there's a real buzz around the town. You know, because the players have won 7 in a row. They've earned the way they've been playing. There's a real excitement around the team, I know. And Old Boys Day has always traditionally been a huge day for the ex-players and staff to come back together and, you know, to see the players playing really well to go for 8 in a row. I mean, 7 in a row hadn't been done since 2001, since Andrew Johns was captain of the club back in 2001. Last time, this could be a great omen, Matty. This could be a great omen. 7 in a row, 2001, they went on and won the premiership.
Wow.
Do we dare to dream?
That is, well, mate, take the $23 on offer from Bet to win the premiership, big fella. That is juicy. I
yeah.
$21 last week. But mate, it's a great one at the moment. But as I touched on, And I know you're going to go with your heart because the Knights. But gee whiz, I'll tell you what, you're going to come up against a side that I reckon's in good nick on Sunday in the Sharks.
For sure, for sure. Now, just looking at the team list there, and Wade Graham, he's got 2 games left in his whole career. So, in the round games, as far as this last 2 weeks, but he's been a super player for the NRL and for the Sharks, and a real leader. So they've still got a great team list name there. They've deserved where they sit in the ladder at the moment, but their last 3 games, they've just turned a bit of a corner semis. I'm sure Craig Fitzgibbon will have in the back of his mind, mate, just how they exited the competition last year in the first 2 rounds of the semis. I'll bet that's pretty fresh in their minds coming into the semi-finals this year. So huge game, this one. Knights v Sharks, 4:00 Sunday afternoon, and I will be sticking with my heart, mate, on this one, and I'll be tipping the Knights to go 8 from 8.
Oh, mate.
Hey, mate, you know what? The other little part of that, Matty, is that the Knights are actually potentially playing for a home semi.
Yeah.
So
see, there's heaps.
If the Raiders are to drop a game and the Knights win one of 2 or 2 of 2, then potentially Newcastle Knights will secure a home semi-final, which will be the first time since, I believe, 2004.
And Raiders are playing Broncos, mate. So there's every chance. That is for sure. Now, listen, Gids, your multi from last week, big fella. You went North from 3. It was a Newcastle Knights Rabbitohs game. So you went the Knights a little bit light on, mate. 1 to 12. They've actually belted them. Dom Young, anytime try scorer. Caleb Ponga, anytime try scorer. So, mate, you've gone North for 3, but you weren't far off, mate. And you picked 7 out of 8. I'm telling you, your pick 8s.
I'm in good form there. Yeah.
Good form. Real good tipping form at the moment, mate. For the Palmerbet followers, big fella.
Yep, all for the Palmerbet followers, mate. And I will be sticking with a multi for the Knights Old Boys Day.
Wouldn't you?
And I'm going to go, mate, Knights. I'm going to go with the momentum they've got at the moment and the belief. And I'm going to go Knights 13 plus.
Gee,
I'm going to go Knights to score first.
Yep.
And I will go anytime try scorer Bradman Best.
Odds, mate.
So
you got the odds there for us?
Mate, no, the due to the team list only just being released,
they're not quite.
Don't have any current odds at the moment, but I'm sure the technology of the Palmerbet boys behind the scenes will have it up right here. They will.
I love it,
right
mate.
there.
And I'm tipping it's going to be like, because 13 plus, there's going to be a little bit of value there straight away. So.
Mate, 13 plus was $3.30 already. So throw the other couple of multis in, and it will be attractive.
The Gids get on for round 26. Now, what about the pick 8, mate? As we said, 7 out of 8 last week, mate. I reckon you were 6 or 7 out of 8 the week before. You've been around the mark. Which way are we going this week, mate?
Yep, mate. I'm not sure if you can punch it in, mate, as I go along here. Oh, no, I've got the odds. Here we go.
This is how easy it is. Mate. This is how easy it is with the Palmer.
Show us how easy it is.
All right, so
okay, here I go. Okay, mate. Panthers to win. Thursday night footy.
Boom.
Into the Warriors to win.
Tick.
Read the Dragons.
Yep.
Cowboys to win over the Dolphins.
Yep. Need to.
Storm to win over the Titans.
Happy.
Roosters to beat the Tigers.
In good nick, mate.
Yeah. Broncos to beat the Raiders.
Love the Bronx.
GIO Stadium. Sunday, 2:00, the Eagles to dust up the Bulldogs.
Yep.
And then last game, Sunday afternoon, footy, Knights to beat the Sharkies.
Mate, I love it, big fella. And that is going to get us $6.93. And Gids, I'm looking at your selections here. I'm with you with every single one of them this week, big fella. $6.93 for the Palmerbet followers, mate. So that is nice.
There we go.
Very good, Nick. You're going to be there on Sunday, mate. Your Knights are up and about going for 8 on the trot, big fella. It doesn't get much better than that, Gids. It's going to be fantastic. How many players will be back, mate, and officials and stuff do you reckon on Sunday?
Oh, mates, I think late numbers are about 130 at the moment, 130.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, outstanding turnout. And, mate, we always have a theme every year. I'm on the Old Boys Committee.
Yeah.
And we always have a theme around each year. And this year is the 1992 team, celebrate the first ever team, Newcastle Knights team that made the semis.
Awesome.
So you're talking about some absolute legends that come through that team who kicked on to the 97 premiership team, Andrew Johns, Matty Johns, Billy Peden. So, yeah, they'll be doing the lap of honour, 92 team, and upstairs into the corporate box to cheer on the current squad.
Couple of steel
Should be a great day.
Too for you, big fella. Drink and gamble responsibly. That is the key message, kids.
That's it.
And always
that's absolutely correct, mate. That's what my wife tells me as well on the way out the door.
And always think about what you're actually really gambling with. That is for sure. That is the key message. Download that Palmer Bet app. Get involved today. Gids, you have a wonderful weekend, mate. 2 rounds to go. It's been a sensational season thus far. And gee whiz, for me, I just want to see big Ryan Pappenhausen get back into that Storm outfit on Saturday. It's going to be sensational. Gids, look forward to talking to you next week, mate.
Thanks for hosting, Matty. Have a good weekend, everyone. All the best.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.